and welcome to another Transformers Masterpiece review. Thanks to the guys over at Robot Kingdom. Today I'm taking a look at the MP-24 Cybertron Commander Star Saber. This is the fans' choice Masterpiece figure. And I will be completely honest with you, I have been so excited about this figure. Star Saber and Victory Leo were my holy grails growing up. I still don't own the originals, and when this guy came to light, I was over the moon. Star Saber, being a Masterpiece figure, of course, comes with the Masterpiece coin, with a flip up front and a flip up midsection. What a gorgeous coin that is. Not a coin collector myself, but I know there are some people out there that this means a lot to, so yes, it comes with one. The box is just one of the standard embossed boxes that we've come to expect from Takara. Just going around the side, we've got your Masterpiece emblem on the side there. On the back, we've got some great artwork that's been teased recently on Twitter. We've got Star Saber, that's his actual size. Just look at the size of Saber and then look at the size of Star Saber. That is really, really impressive. He's got his various modes, and he does actually come with his shield. Albeit the shield was only present in one episode, I think. Might have been two. But yeah, he comes with the shield. That's a nice little nod there. Just proves that they are toys made for fans by fans. Again, on the side, nothing on the side. Just Star Saber on the top. Warnings on the bottom about choking on your food, what's included, and let's get him out of the box. Now, normally I would display the clamshell upright, but there's so much weight and die cast in there that it's actually too heavy to stand the clamshell upright, so I'm having to lay it down. As you can see, he comes packaged in his vehicle modes with his Brainmaster there. He's got his various weapons, and he is so heavy. Star Saber also comes with his collector's card, with his information and spec on the back. They are some pretty high stats there, aren't they? And he comes with this large booklet which we've come to know and love from Takara, with a very detailed instructions. He's got the history of Star Saber in there as well. I mean, just look how he's changed. There's the initial sketches. You've got your Star Sabers there. You've got your Robo figures. You've got your Blade. There's the original Star Saber, the concept sketches. God, he really has come on light years. Out of your plastic tray, you get a very, very G1 reminiscent setup for Star Saber. You've got the lower part of the V-Star ship. You've got Saber in his semi-jet mode. It's kind of folded up. That's how it comes out of the box. You've got the two parts to his blades. You've got Star Saber's helmet. You've got the absolutely amazing Brainmaster. I mean, that is incredibly detailed. If you check out my blog over at Benscollectables.com, there will be a full gallery of this guy. And I am genuinely extremely impressed with the level of detailing on the Brainmaster there. You've got the sections for the hilt of the sword. And of course, we get this amazing shield and stroke stand. It's also this blue section here, I'll show you when we get to it. It's actually a compatible flight stand, so we can have the vehicle mode for Star Saber kind of hovering there with our collection. First of all, let's take a look at Saber. This is Saber. This is the Brain of Courage, I believe it is, or Yukino Brain. Excuse the pronunciation. It's probably terrible, but like I mentioned earlier on, the detailing on this guy is absolutely incredible. I mean, just look at that. That is fantastic, considering how small. I mean, look at my thumbnail. This is absolutely tiny. It just proves they've really advanced, even from the days of the Ultra Magnus Masterpiece with the Spike and Daniel. With the, I mean, you knew that I didn't like the paint applications on Spike and Daniel. And just look what they've done with this. Yeah, okay, there's a little bit of bleeding there on the leg, but it's so minute you can't tell unless you're under this macro lens. The arms move up and down, just a pin through the centre there, very reminiscent of the G1 toy, and the legs are actually individual, so they move up that far, back that far, and they can both come out together. I'm just going to get him in the seated position because I'm going to sit him inside Saber. The Saber Jet itself, again, is really, really nice. The paint applications are sublime. You can just fold down the wings, 1, and 2. Let's fold down those rear wings as well. This one, I do tend to want to come down together, and you then have to resplit them like so. And we can just pop open the Saber cockpit. Just have a look on the inside there. Just look at the detailing in there. I mean, it wasn't necessary. They didn't need to do like lining on that inside there with the seat and the control panel. It wasn't essential, but that's just the level of detailing we're getting now when we're purchasing a masterpiece figure. Let's put the Brainmaster in the cab. Just need to fold his legs down slightly so they can slide in and down. Just plop him in and just close that back off. He does come with wheels which fold down. I don't have very good nails right now, but they're fairly big nubbins on the back there to allow you to flick the wheels down. Place him there, and he actually rolls really, really successfully. Just to give you all an idea of the scale of the Saber jet itself, most of you own one form or another of the Combiner Wars jets. I mean, it's a fairly substantial size. Yes, it's not going to be as big as, say, your Masterpiece Seekers, but it's a pretty good scale nonetheless. It's a good size for a part of a combining robot. Next, we can take a look at the V-Star. This is the battle platform for Saber, for him to ride in on. He can also combine with it as well. First of all, let's flip these tail fin sections up. This is exactly how it's come out of the box. So this is how you'll get it. You flip these sections up here. You can flip these wings down like so. And this is where all the kind of oomph and grunt is in this set. This is where all the die cast is, and it's such a huge chunk. It really does remind me of the G1 toy, and that's not a bad thing. It's simplistic, it's really nice, bold colours, it's very, very vibrant, and it's such a lovely nod. At this point, you want to get your Star Saber head. Just push this section down, which pushes the face mask up, and these actually are on like a ratchet joint, so you need to push it, and then it just clicks out. And that's going to click into place there, and this is then going to be mounted on the front section. There's this small tab here, lift that up, that comes round, and you see this joint here. This is on a spring-loaded clasp. The clasp goes onto the back of the Star Saber head, locks that into place. You can then rock this section back like so. On the underside of the V-Star, there are wheels just hidden on the underside here. You may need nails or a small tool for these because there isn't actually a very big nubbin on these at all to pull those down. They are very, very, very small. So just flip that forward again and just kind of grab the wheel and pull it down. And that's the same with the back section. Just flip this top panel up, and that allows you to bring these wheels over like so. And there we have the V-Star platform. Yes, okay, it's minimalistic, and because it's so true to the Generation 1 toy, it does kind of look a little bit like half a body with some wings on. But it does roll. Again, the wheels work really, really well on this guy. It rolls really, really nicely. It's, like I said earlier on, the colours are really, really bold. I do like the fact that the helmet is fully collapsible this time, and these are on a spring-loaded mechanism, which pulls them straight inwards there, and it does kind of hide the head just a little bit more. Now we do have some hidden missile pods. We just flipped this section up here. They're a little bit lackluster in my opinion. It's such a very bland, basic yellow. I would like a little bit of black detailing or something in there just to separate that yellow up a bit, but the option is there. Now it's at this point we can actually bring Star Saber together as a whole into his Union vehicle mode. Basically, your first port of call is to collapse those wheels that we got out earlier on. Fold those in. You want to fold these wings up like so. And then these wings you want to bring down like this. With these chest hinges folded open, you can then bring in the Saber jet. And that's going to go in at an angle and slide into that crevice. With the wings fully folded down and these wings folded up, there's a hole at the bottom here. That's going to tab into this section on the V-Star base. Going to slide that in and just push that back. That's then going to tab in. That's going to place in like so. And these wings should stay either side of this section here. We can then bring this section back forwards, like so. And there we have it. And here he is fully combined. We can bring in the Saber laser, and that can just peg in to the pegging in point on the top here. You do have to watch out, because I've just folded these wheels under when I was doing the transformations to make sure it's all folded back up like so. He's really, really nice. There are storage points for both his Saber blades, just like there was in the original G1 toy. The one on his left-hand side there houses the small blade. It's just slid inside like so. And the one on the right side there houses the larger blade. Unfortunately, I haven't found a storage point for his actual sword hilt yet. There may be one just hidden around. It does seem to be just a regular peg there, so maybe I'd just peg that in like on the back or on the underside somewhere. But at the moment, I generally put that to one side because I have had this guy displayed in his bot mode because it's fantastic. There are die-cast parts all over this guy. You've got him on these missile pods here. These are both die-cast. Bringing him back round to this side, his thrusters, these are all die-cast, including the ones on the back here. There's a lot of die-cast in this guy. It's generally around the bottom of the legs and around the bottom of the back to keep him really well balanced. Now, earlier on I mentioned we got that small baggie of goodies which included the shield and the stand section. We also get the large hilt for the Star Saber combined mode. We'll put that over to one side. And this shield section here, what you want to do, you want to slide this Autobot badge out of the way, like so. You're then left with this base piece. This section and this section plug in together. They just slide together. It's a really, really tight fit once they click in. I don't think I'm about to pull those apart. They are really, really secure. And you then take this section here, and that is now going to slide in to this piece here. Slide that all the way in, and that's now going to become a flight stand for Star Saber. I've flipped all of the wheels in, and there's a tab just on the top here that goes into the hole just underneath the underside of the crotch. Plug that in there, and then you want to just push that over this front section here, and that's now locked that stand into place. And I'm not going to lie, mounted on that flight stand, the Saber Jet, or Star Saber in his combined vehicle form, does look absolutely outstanding. I really do like that. It's such a nice use of the stand, and it really does kind of emphasize a flight mode there where it's slightly tilted back. I just think it really, really works. It's nice. This is one of the very first Masterpiece figures where I've thought to myself, I really like him in his alt mode, I really like him in his bot mode, and I really like him in his combined mode. He's a lot of money to be buying 3 of these, but man, I wish I could. He just looks sublime. Now, let's get Star Saber transformed. To remove the Saber Jet, just open up these tabs here, and there's a black button on top here. Just press that, and that releases the catch underneath. You can now remove the jet. To get Saber transformed, open up the cockpit, remove the Brainmaster, and close that cockpit back up. You then want to remove this front section, so just slide it out, and it's just tabbed in like so. That's now revealed the helmet. Rotate the arms up. They're on this hinge here. Just rotate those right up. Flip out the fist, and this arm again is on a kind of a rotating hinge. Just rotate that all the way up, and then lock that into place like so. Grab the legs and hold on to the crotch. Just pull and extend, and that just brings these sections up at the knees. And you can just bring those forward. Let's split those out. And let's flip down the toe sections on both legs. With the Brainmaster standing upright, you want to flip down the front section. Just get a nail under there like so. Flip that down. And that's where you locate his Brainmaster. With the Brainmaster in, and just make sure his legs are pushed fully back. There's a couple of small tabs, they just sit behind his thighs there. That keeps him perfectly straight. We can then close this section off, revealing the head. That is fantastic mechanism. It's a very, very slight movement, but the cockpit does slide down. Fold down this section here. That's now going to tab in over the arm as his arm shield. And there we have Saber in his bot mode. Let's bring in that hilt that I showed you earlier on. Remove the small blade. The small blade just clips into the hilt, like so. And if you look at the shape of this, there's the two masterpiece tabs that we've become accustomed to. We can just pop those in his hands. And there's a small indentation there for his thumb to slide in. Close the clasp. And there he is with his blade. I'll tell you what, I absolutely love Saber. I think he is a work of art. I love the chromed blade. It looks fantastic. I love the articulation they've managed to get in what is in essence a shell former. Basically, it's just a hollow body with that brain master in there, and it's just a torso for a larger robot. But look at the level of detailing on it. Look at the fact the head can rotate left and right. That is incredible. Just look at the detailing on the head. That is very, very, very true likeness to the cartoon. Articulation wise, we've got a rotation on the shoulders. The shoulders do go up and down. There's an upper bicep swivel. There's a really nice 90-degree bend at the elbow. We have a rotation on the wrist. We do have hollow forearms, but I'm going to forgive that because this looks amazing. There's no real waist swivel there at all. We do have these hinged skirts, which we can lift up, which gives us a really nice range of movement on an incredibly tight ratchet on the leg there. They can go that far forward. The back is somewhat hindered by the kibble on the back there where the jet section is. You can rotate them into the splits, but you do have to rotate the legs outwards and then up, which obviously you can then bend at the knee. It does reveal these rather nasty screws though. Let's rotate that back round. We do have a... Is there a pivot on there as well? No, all the rotation is on the upper thigh. We have a nice deep bend at the knee, but that does go forwards and backwards, so he can kind of break his legs. And we do have a pivot on the toe, but that's just part of the transformation. He's really well weighted. He has these nice legs here. The upper body is a good strong plastic, but we do have these die cast points on the feet to keep him incredibly well balanced. Having the die cast in the feet really does help allow for some pretty dynamic poses, especially for such a small guy. And of course, just like the cartoon, we get to upgrade his sword. If you bring in the larger blade, we can upgrade the Saber blade here. You want to grab his shield from his arm, open up the top end of the cockpit. There's two tabs. There's a larger tab and a smaller tab. The larger one goes in this section here, pushing that down in like so. This top section goes and slides and keeps it in place. You then want to flip this section outwards, rotate this hinge round, pull that back down, and again pull this section back down like so. We now have these tabs here which we can tab in to his hand and slide this section in behind the thumb. You then pull the fingers round, which holds all this section into place. And there we have him with his upgraded Saber. That is massive on him. And of course, bringing in the fingers around the handle on the shield, he can also hold the shield in the same way. He looks a little bit weapon heavy there. Unfortunately, even with the die cast in his feet, this combination of weapon and shield on the small Saber figure is a little bit heavy for him, and keeping his balance is slightly difficult. For you scale junkies out there, here he is with some of the Masterpiece and third-party scaled Masterpiece figures. Here he is with a Hasbro offering Combiner Wars Voyager and a Combiner Wars Deluxe. And just one for you action figure collectors, here he is with the Gundam and Rivaltech Woody. Now, although there are actually no official foot grips on the V-Star, he can ride into battle like he did in the show on the V-Star platform. Now, that being said, let's get him transformed up into his complete Star Saber bot mode. This is what I bought it for. This is how 95% of you are going to display it. let's take a look. First of all, let's open up those fists and remove the blade. I want to collapse the arm and return it to how it was in vehicle mode. So just collapse it down like so and fold those sections back in. They actually just sit in there nice and snug. With both arms collapsed and just pressed in, you can bring up the chest section using those hinges on the thighs, and again using the hinges on the knees, bringing up this chest section all the way, collapse those feet and bring that all the way in. When he's folded into this position, you can then apply a pressure on the top there and just below the knee, and it just slides this joint down like so. Finishing touches, just flip these vents round like so, so they show the grey air vents. Bring in the V-Star and remove the gun. I'm just untab this head and have it on a floating hinge. Come to the underside and you want to disengage the shield stand. Just pull that off the front there and it should unclip from the back. And just in the reverse of what we did earlier on, just slide this clip off the shield. Bring in your Autobot logo and slide that back into the groove like so. The back section here, that's tabbed in just at either point of the leg there and just behind this blue section. Just untab that, and just lift this section back up. That's going to pull up like so. Then tabs in either side at the top there. Tabbing from just behind this yellow peg. The arms and the legs now separate. Just pull that up. See there's a tab just on the underside there. Just pull that. That now frees up the arm. You want to pull this leg all the way down like so. Lock that into place. Come to this section and fold that fin inwards. Come around to the feet. Flip this section up. Rotate this whole section forward and just push this base plate down. You can then fold the Autobot logo section backwards. Slide and extend the arms like so, and you can rotate the fists. And with the chest windows open, we're going to dock the Saber chest exactly the same way as we did in the jet mode. Just pulling that back in at the angle, sliding it down and locking that into place. Once he's fully pushed into place, you'll have very, very little clearance at the back there. And you can then fold these chest tabs in and they close in just behind that central window. You can then flip these tabs backwards like so. And if you choose to, you can have the helmet back down. So he's got the little tiny head. Now with that small unhelmeted head, he actually really reminds me of the Energon Wing Saber with that really big bulky body, who of course in himself was actually a homage to the Star Saber. But yeah, I just think it looks a little bit funny, but hey, he's almost like he's in a big power suit, which in essence I guess he is. Now of course he does have this helmet go on, so let's bring that over. That's going to slide in directly over the helmet. Slide that down. We want to lift the face plate down, move the antennae upwards. Now they are actually just on a clasp hinge here, so if you do pull up this end section here, it will just come undone. It will pop off, so try to grab the base of these sections and lift them up like so. And you can then just move that face plate down accordingly. Make sure the head is on. Come around to the back. Grip that clasp. Fold that back down. You can then, if you want to pop this section down, that folds in, out of the way, and you can pop that section back on. Basically, if we were to leave that clasp section on the back there, it would keep the head in a very, very static pose, and we wouldn't be able to move him left and right. And in a recent interview, TF Yuki over on Twitter mentioned these ports. These ports are built into the bottom of Star Saber. They appear to be combining ports. Are we going to get a Victory Saber, Leo Saber whole combination, our first Masterpiece combiner? I really, really hope so. He mentioned on his interview that the ports have been put in place depending on the success of this figure, how he does, then that will determine whether they make the Victory Leo Masterpiece. I really, really hope they do. I don't have an original Victory Leo to hand, but I've seen photos on Weibo and Facebook of guys actually combining using these ports with the original G1 Victory Leo. I think that's a fantastic idea. Now, if we remove the blade from the back section of Star Saber, basically to make the Saber blade pretty much the same as what we did with just the regular Saber figure, only this time we're going to put the blade in again, place that in and close this tip section off. Just make sure that's closed up nicely. This time we're going to lift this section up, fold this back in, close this off, and we're now going to bring in this separate handle. That's going to come in and just clip in behind these sections here, like so. And then you can bring back this section here and close that off. And this is our larger version of that Saber blade. Now, unlike in the regular Saber mode, there is no actual clasp or grip on this for it to fix into the hand. Instead, there is a grooved cutout inside the actual Star Saber fist, and as you slide this down, that top rests on the thumb, and the actual shape of the fingers is actually shaped to grip the sword, so it's not going anywhere and it's held securely into place. Now we get a choice for the accessory. You can either have the Saber laser, which you flip this section down, and we have the two grooves which fit into the fist. But I don't like to use the Saber laser. I like to have that mounted on the back. Instead, I like to bring in his shield, which again has this grooved cutout section, so we can open up the hand like so, which again just slides into these larger fists. Now, I know I've got a fair few Masterpiece figures, but I have to admit, I think with my deep-seated love of the Brave figures, I really think this has to be my very favourite Masterpiece figure. Now, I know he's simplistic in comparison to some of the Master figure pieces in the line, but just his overall bulk, shape, G1-esque looks, bold colours, really nice contrasting mech-like look, and just the antennae, the guns, the weaponry, the chrome sword, and the use of the die-cast, it really does tick a lot of my boxes, and I think it's a phenomenal figure. Articulation on Star Saber is somewhat strange. It's a little bit odd. The head does rotate left and right. We have that much looking up and that much looking down. The arms are on a sliding hinge outwards. They do go all the way around on a beautiful ratchet joint, as well as this rather strange kind of inward and outward motion hinge. If you see that there, it's kind of on a rocker joint here. You've then got another rocker joint on that elbow there, which rotates and turns into a double jointed elbow. So you've got some really kind of strange motions going on there. So the arm can look a bit snake-like, but it really does come into play when you try and get him in some really dynamic poses. We have a rotation at the upper bicep and at the lower bicep, and on the wrists themselves there's a tilt inwards, there's a full rotation, and of course the fingers, the trigger finger is on a separate hinge and the base three fingers are on a separate hinge with a groove on the inside for the weapons. The waist does rotate, although it is somewhat hindered by the side skirts. Coming around to the legs, if you move up the side skirts, the legs are on a ball-jointed ratchet hinge on the inside here, and which you have to rotate and get to a certain angle to get good motion on those legs. The legs go forward that far and back that far, again hindered by the bum skirt. They do go out, sort of, if you rotate the legs kind of up and round on that hinge. So it's a matter of positioning that ball-jointed thigh to get the motion that you want. The legs are on a rotation at the lower knee, and again a nice bend at the knee. Not quite a 90 degree, but still fairly good. And there's a little tiny bit of motion going forward there just beyond the straight section. The feet are on a pivot, and can go up and down, and they've also got a bend at the toe. The use of the kind of bingo wing joint there and the double jointed elbows, you do get the really good illusion that he can draw his own sword, very similar to that of the cartoon. And there's just enough range of motion on both the arms there to allow him to grip his sword with both hands. Doesn't that look great? Here he is with some of his masterpiece brethren, just to give you an idea of scale. He's a big boy. He actually stands taller than Ultra Magnus, although he does weigh a little bit less. And here he is with the crossover gen God Bomber set. Ah man, I wish I had a Diatlas to go with these guys. So there we have it, guys. In my opinion, a true victory of a masterpiece figure. Excuse the pun. What do you guys think? Let me know. If you like this video, if you found it helpful, please give it a big thumbs up and feel free to subscribe. Make sure you check out the full photo gallery and more information about this figure over at Benscollectables.com. And again, thanks to the guys over at Robot Kingdom. Until next time, from myself and the truly glorious MP-24 Star Saber, thanks for watching.